Good morning. It is Friday, October 4th, and it's, Friday, so I wanted to do something a little bit more fun today and just kind of chill out and talk about the games that I picked up in September, see what you got in September, right? Because in the past, I gotten basically well into the current month and then forgotten to do the pickups from last month. And I have to say, the summer normally is kind of a drought period, right? You don't have a ton of releases in summer historically, but I feel like that trend has shifted in recent years, where now it seems like every time summer rolls around, we get a ton of new releases, well before the holiday season ever hits, because normally, you think you have to start planning for October and November, because that's when you get a ton of new releases, and then next year is going to be especially rough, because on top of all the releases that you're going to get, you're also going to be up against, I think, the PlayStation 5 and Project Scarlet launching next year on the Xbox side, so it's going to be very interesting, I think. Caitlin, hello, how are you today? So, today I just want to go through all the pickups that I grabbed for September, talk a little bit about the things I'm excited for the rest of October, because today, right off the bat, I'll tell you, I'm super pumped to get off work today and go pick up Ghostbusters from GameStop. I think it's going to be tremendous. In this thing, I grew up a huge Ghostbusters. I was born the day Ghostbusters came out in the States, so I'm very, very excited for that game. And some early reviews and videos that I've seen on it seem like it's actually pretty decent. So I will be looking forward to that a lot. But right now, I'll go ahead and dive into the games that I picked up for September. Sushi, hello, how are you this morning? Thank you for stopping by. The first, and that's the thing, it broke down to, is this right? Yeah. Oh no, I didn't have any Xbox games. I could have sworn I did get an Xbox game, but basically 4 PS4 games, 4 Switch games. I'll go ahead and start with Switch, and we'll go ahead and get the obvious one out of the way. Zelda Link's Awakening, which I think everybody picked up, and I don't think it's necessarily the, I don't think it's the longest Zelda game by any stretch of the imagination, but for a lot of people it holds a lot of nostalgic appeal, myself included. And I've already told the story about this on the stream, but quick recap, when I was a kid, I had the original one on the Game Boy, which really was a tremendous technical achievement that they were able to take kind of the 16-bit top-down style Zelda that had been established in A Link to the Past, and then bring it over to Link's Awakening on a Game Boy, which is really impressive in its own right. Then a couple of years later, they did the same thing for the Game Boy Color with Link's Awakening DX, and I had that one as well, and I remember vividly going on a trip with my dad. He was doing work stuff, and I was just hanging out in a hotel room. I basically just played that game for a whole week, loved it, and I'm loving exploring it now, even though I'm still only 2 dungeons in. Haven't played it since I streamed it, so. Shaboinky Boink, hello. Yes, Goosebusters all day. I could put that. Did I get that in September? Yes, I also got Untitled Goose Game, which everybody is getting right now, and it kills me because I know that physical release is going to be coming out, but, what are you going to do? That's the risk you take if you want to be an early adopter for a digital game that launches. Yes, Halls all day, Beck. How are you this morning? It's not a bad day, I don't think. So next up was a game that, again, I love this trend of demos dropping on the eShop, and then your progress carries over, and I swear I think this was probably spearheaded in a very significant way by Square, because I didn't see anybody doing it quite as much. Dad, good morning. Hi, Bum. Greetings all. This story is why I earned my bad parenting merit. You weren't a bad parent. I was fine in the hotel room. I didn't go crazy like Kevin McAllister style and order $600 worth of room service or anything. It was fine. So and this game, which has, I swear, the longest title I've seen in a game in a while, and that's Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age S Definitive Edition, which is more than a mouthful for a title, obviously. And it's weird because a lot of people talked about how much they liked the cover art for this game more than the original. Actually, I should have brought the PS4 version up here to show you. But the American release, or the Western release for this game on the PS4, the cover art was not quite as stellar as the Japanese version, but it looks like they took some cues from that for this version. Then let's a little look at the inside. It's not bad. But yeah, in this game, I think I've already got about 24, 25 hours into it. And the way I play games like this, it's an RPG. And what's weird is the Dragon Quest series is apparently so crazy popular in Japan. Allegedly, the Japanese government asked them, hey, could you launch these things on Saturdays because it really impacts the work week for the economy. I don't know if that's true. Could be urban legend. But I don't know, I think it kind of stands to reason because, for context, that game, when it came out, originally on the PS4 in the tail end of 2017, I think, in Japan. Maybe not 2018. But it sold 2 million copies in 2 days. For context, Super Mario Odyssey, which was also hugely anticipated, only did 500,000 in 2 days. So it did 4 times what we got from Super Mario Odyssey, which is completely insane. Mom, good morning. Neo, how are you? Just watched Pixel Game Squad's new video where Aaron talks about how much retro games mean to him, and it's a really good video. I saw that, actually, I was scrolling through Twitter just before I started here to kind of tweet this out and everything, and I saw that, and I do want to catch that. It looked like it was going to be an emotional video, and that's the thing, I love when people have an emotional attachment to games, and they have those cool stories, like, for me, which was Link's Awakening, growing up playing that, And just the connection that people have with it. And I still hate that there's a sort of stigma associated, I think, with being a gamer, where it's like, if you play games, you're just childish or introverted or any other number of stereotypes that are kind of associated with playing games. And that kills me, because there are so many amazing, not just nostalgic experiences, but even modern day storytelling or narratives that are in video games that you just can't get anywhere else. And I hate that so many people will miss out on it because they just have this sort of negative preconceived notion about what it means to play video games. I think that sucks. And so the next game that I got also, so these two games already are pretty similar, and I put this out on Instagram, all three of these titles. So there's Dragon Quest, there's Zelda Link's Awakening, and then next up was Ni no Kuni, which I still haven't even opened yet, Wrath of the White Witch. And I wasn't going to grab this originally, because I had it for the PlayStation 3, and I never finished it, and I thought that, again, with the portable nature of the Switch, I would probably have more time to play longer RPGs, which was definitely the case for me last summer when I beat Persona 4 Golden, which I couldn't have done without Kawaii Lola, because she helped me tremendously during the end of that game. Not a spooky topic today then, kinda, because I'm going to talk about October releases after I get done with this. But yeah, Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, for me, it was the art style more than anything that kind of drew me to the game initially. And the fact that it was Studio Ghibli, which I'm still not positive I'm pronouncing correctly. And then after I picked it up, I was like, this makes me... I was actually going to go see... there was a Ghibli film in theaters, which apparently wasn't a new release. It was something that had been released previously. But I was like, maybe it would be fun to, go to the movies and play some Ni no Kuni while I wait for the movie to start, and then watch a Ghibli film. So now, that's why I've been kind of on Twitter talking about it. I'm not a huge anime guy. Not that I don't enjoy it when I find one that I like. I'm just... I was never rabid about anime, so I don't know where to start, really. My tastes are incredibly pedestrian when it comes to anime, so that's why I rely on Twitter to tell me what I should be doing. And Ni no Kuni's art style was just so distinctive, and apparently its animated cutscenes are just second to none. I watched Mandy Lee Plays a little bit. She streamed some of the early part of this game, and I was like, well, that's not too bad for spoiler territory if I watch her play the early part, because I've already played it. It'll just be more of a refresher, really. And that game launched at $50. I had $25 in gift cards for Best Buy, and then they price matched Walmart, which was selling it for $40, which I don't know what this trend is lately, where Walmart's just sort of selling games $10 or $20 below what you would expect from the initial retail offering. But I'm a big fan, so I ended up getting that game for $15, which is not terrible. What's the deal, Kawaii? I might do it. Ni no Kuni, yes, Sushi. I figured you would be a fan. Shaboink says, well, I am childish and introvert, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being childish and introvert. I just think it's, to paint with such broad strokes, right? And just assume anybody who plays games is that, and it's a negative thing inherently. Trade some games in for that $199 deal at EB. Oh, because you missed your Switch? Okay, I didn't see that, Sawyer. Yes, you should do that. Dragon Quest XI, Dairy Queen. Woo. It's not Dairy Queen. Where am I in the chat? Correct pronunciation. Oh, I did get it right? Okay, great. Ni no Kuni equals Cry Dragon Quest 11 equal Cry. Oh, I'm sorry, Lola. Well, you're gonna get both of those titles eventually, I'm sure. Ken says, I'm currently commenting on Aaron's video talking about how I regret not growing up with the Mario Bros. Games and how I've been collecting all the games to make up for it. I gotcha. And, if you didn't grow up, I didn't grow up with the Sonic games, so I didn't really start dabbling in those till later in life unless I was at, a friend's house when I was a kid or something like that, and they had a Sega Genesis, because I did not grow up in a Sega home until 1999. My parents got me a Dreamcast for Christmas, which I thought was very, very nice. News says, I might really consider getting Dragon Quest, but wanting to see if there is going to be a pre-order for Pokemon. What do you mean, a pre-order bonus for Pokemon? Is that what you're saying, Neo? I have to imagine there is one, and, Pokemon's right around the corner at this point, just, we're 6 weeks out, I think, from Pokemon. And the last Switch pickup was not a pickup in the traditional sense. I didn't go out to the store and get it, but rather it was a shipment I've been waiting on for a very long time from Limited Run Games, which if you've ever ordered from Limited Run, you know that can take a while. I'm still waiting on that copy of Celeste, but I don't mind the delay because I know they're trying to put all the additional DLC on cart for Celeste, so you have a complete edition. So, not the end of the world. But this was a game that I wanted to play, and I actually took a little bit of footage of it, just briefly during the opening, and I liked what I saw in the first 5 or 10 minutes, maybe. And I did footage of this for collaboration with Russ Lyman, and that was The Messenger, a game that has a very unique twist that I won't spoil here if you're not familiar with it. I wish I didn't know what the twist was, because I feel like it would have been more surprising, but, The Messenger is a kind of a Ninja Gaiden style 8-bit sort of game. It's a platformer for the Switch that got a lot of critical praise, I think particularly for the music, and the presentation is tremendous. If you grew up at all in the 90s, then you're going to just fall in love with this from a visual standpoint. And then, true to form with Limited Run, it did come with some extra goodies. Here's the inside of the case. I think it has a reversible cover here if you want. But then it also came with some stickers, which I thought was tremendous. and then it also came with an instruction booklet, which I really liked because not only is it just a color instruction booklet, but you can kind of see there they've got kind of like a foil presentation here on the front. It's kind of shiny and reflective and nice. But yeah, it's as far as instruction booklets go, it's gorgeous. It reminds me of Binding of Isaac a little bit. Which, speaking of, apparently those first run Binding of Isaac copies for the Switch now demand a like $10 to $30 premium because they're apparently getting kind of rare. Like you can get the alternate cover art of Binding of Isaac that launched like the second run fairly easily. Like I see that at GameStop all the time for I think $30-$40. Whenever I try to go find the original one, which I do still have, it was one of my favorite launch window titles for the Nintendo Switch. I want to say that's going for anywhere from like $50 to $70 in some cases. Like it's definitely more expensive. Solier says, we'll look into it. Let's see. Shaboink Boink says, Best Buy is selling the Switch online, $50 a month for 6 months. Wait, what? Oh, the regular Switch. Sorry, I was thinking Switch Lite. I was like, that seems like a horrible deal. Like, the Switch Lite is only $200. A friend ordered Freedom Planet for me from Limited Run. Oh, that's very cool, Caitlin. Yeah, I like Limited Run a lot. It kills me because there are so many digital games I want to play at launch, but then there's this part of me, it's like, just wait, it's going to get a physical. You know it's going to get a physical. Nia says no, just to see how early I can drop money on it, because I got to save pennies, so if I can put some money on it this month rather than all next month, I gotcha. Chris says, good morning, sexy. Good morning, you sexy beast. How are you today, CM? I appreciate you hanging out, man. Tell me the games you got in September. And anybody, please weigh in with the games that you got in September. Pre-order and all that will be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I am looking forward to that game. I don't know if I'm going to get the collector's edition. I know Jagan did, but it's like $250. But there's a game I'll comfortably drop $250 on, and that was The Last of Us Part 2. I'm okay with that because I knew how much I love the first one, and I know the second one's going to be absolutely tremendous. Was the Pumpkin Cat there last time? It's been up for a couple of days. You know, I got a couple Beanie Babies ghosts back there, and I got my little jack-o'-lantern, and then I got a little cat over here. They've been up for a few days. I thought you would appreciate the cat back. Hi Lola, I pre-ordered The Last of Us 2. Ooh, which edition did you get? Were you able to get into the window for the backpack version? Nia says we'll probably drop all the money on that DBZ game. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I say that I'm not an anime fan, and I'm not, and I'm, again, not because I don't like anime. I think it's great whenever I find something that I like, but because my tastes waver to the pedestrian, the only real anime I grew up watching was Dragon Ball Z. So when I found out that Kakarot was basically going to have you play through a lot of the things that I remembered watching, like the Cell Saga, Buu Saga, Frieza, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody else. Well, anyways, during that era, where I watched almost that entire story arc, the fact that it's going to be in Kakarot, for me, that's a nice trip down memory lane. So that's my purchase for that, or my interest in it, is fueled almost entirely by nostalgia, which I think is totally fine. For context. Oh, and then the other thing, almost forgot, the Nintendo Switch Lite, which I did pick up, the yellow one. And then sadly yesterday I had to return the yellow one because the shoulder button was messed up and it kept sticking and my camera just kept rotating in Dragon Quest XI. So I figured, hey, variety is the spice of life. Why not try the other color and see how I like it? And I have to say, the turquoise one is rather nice. Right now I'm just downloading a bunch of games here that I have on here digitally. But yeah, I have to say the color in person is not quite as bright as the box or the marketing would lead you to believe. It's a little bit more subdued. I don't know how well it's shown up on camera. So I returned the yellow and decided to go for the turquoise, much to the chagrin of Morrow. We were Banana Bros, but no more. And I'll tell you, the only reason I did it, I was going to go for yellow again because she was guilt-tripping me on Twitter. But she was like, just so you know, if a pink or a purple one comes out, I'm totally trading in my yellow one and getting one of those colors. So I was like, if she's going to stop being a Banana Bro, just, whenever something pretty comes out, I'm going to stop it right now and preempt her and just go ahead and get the turquoise one. And it looks really nice, I think. It's not bad at all. Where am I? Uh-oh. I am just getting Doraemon. I don't know what that is. I could only get the regular collector's edition. I'm happy to have it, though. I never buy the collector's editions. Yeah, it depends on the game for me. I try not to just snatch them up instantly, but if it's a game I think I'm going to be particularly excited for, I'll seek it out. Josh will also buy Doraemon. I don't know what this is. I'm a mega fan of DBZ, and Josh, it's like you're in the anime, you'll love it. If that's why you're getting it, that is why I'm getting it. I'm getting it because I think the presentation looks absolutely incredible, and it's just at this point I remember playing what was it, the original Dragon Ball Z Budokai? Is that right? Budokan? Budokai? I can't remember. There was an old game I used to play called Budokan or Budokai when I was a kid with my dad, and I could never remember the subtitle for that Dragon Ball game. But when I played that, I was like, this is great. Where it started starting to look kind of like the cartoon, and now it's like indistinguishable. Like if you've played fighters, you know, like it's almost just like it's like it just leapt off of the television and is now just what you're playing. It's incredible. Um, Walmart and other stores are selling games for $50 to get you in their store. When you're that big, they don't mind breaking even. Oh yeah, because if you buy like 10 other things while you're in Walmart, that makes sense. I see why they're doing it. I just hope the trend continues so that I can keep getting good deals on games. Although I will continue to get good deals on games because again, I am starting to work for GameStop seasonally. Because they were like, hey, do you want to come work at GameStop? And I was like, no. I was like, I have a day job. I'm not going to do that. And they're like, well, we just want you to come in seasonally. You pick up 2 or 3 shifts, and then you'll get like 2 or 3 months worth of discounts. And I was like, well, I'm only going to do it if I can film a little bit and talk about it on the channel, what the experience of working at a GameStop is like in 2019. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. They're like, you just can't reveal anything that we can't reveal, obviously. And they were cool with it. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up a couple shifts at GameStop and get some discounts. So we'll see how that goes. Where am I at? Black Clover or Demon Slayer? Or I keep hearing Demon Slayer over and over. That and My Hero Academia. Josh, you actually betrayed Mara. I didn't betray Mara. Okay, I preemptively joined her own betrayal. Okay, because she was gonna leave. Okay, she was not down with yellow anymore. And to be honest, I might have done the same thing because I'm a fan of purple, but just don't tell her I said that. Morrow is not going to be Happy Camper. That's true now. Sorry, I forgot to mention there's a limited Pokemon edition for the Light coming out. So that's true. It is coming out, I think, the same day Pokemon drops. That's what Mike was holding out for, too, as I recall. 8-Bit Glitch, how are you? Also, thank you for friend requesting me on the Switch. I saw that and responded, so we'll have to play together sometime. Buy the Blue Cat. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Is that a Switch Lite Turquoise reference? LL Dormon's Story of Seasons. You can farm too, Josh. Ooh, don't tempt me. You know how I do love some farming. Neil says I played Friday the 13th last night and I got to say for streaming, maybe not the right game. Oh, I think it's absolutely the right game. I would love to hear why you think it's not the right game, because I think that game's just a ton of fun. And the weird, like, issues that happen or the glitches or technical problems that you kind of see pop up in that game, to me just add to the overall hilarity of the premise itself, so it's not the worst thing. Shaboink Boink says Dormon is that weird blue and white cat from the anime. What is Dormon? I'm just gonna look this up real quick. I've never seen Dormon before. All I know is that Dormon, at first glance, at least from a shape perspective, looks like a blatant ripoff of an old cartoon I used to watch in the 80s called Heathcliff. Which some of you are gonna be like, "What's that?" Others of you will be like, "I remember Heathcliff." Although I don't know. I think that may have been a European cartoon that just got showed on Nickelodeon at the time. I'm not sure. Where am I at? Kalen says Dormon is one of the longest running anime in Japan. It gained an American fan base, but never got an English dub until recent years. Okay, I gotcha. It was difficult to try and get a game now. Many people must not be playing it. Were you playing it on the Switch or PS4? Because you can't have a wait time, get into queue, but if you can get some friends together too and do private matches, that's fun because you can just pick who gets to be Jason instead of just rolling the dice and hoping you get assigned the role of Jason. Heathcliff. Oh, you remember Heathcliff, Shaboinky Boink? Dormon is my childhood, Josh. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying it looks like they took some cues from Heathcliff is all right. Everything is a remix. We all do it. There's no shame in it. You know. And I'm willing to check out Dormon, I think. It's a game or just an anime? I'll have to do some more research. Or you'll have to educate me, I guess. I know Dormon ran longer than The Simpsons. Wow, that is impressive. The Simpsons may have topped it, but I'm not sure. Because The Simpsons are into, what, 27 seasons or something insane? Maybe more? Heathcliff was a more active Garfield. Exactly, see? Even Heathcliff, he's not like a holy grail, right? He's no sacred cow. He's just a remixed version of Garfield. And Garfield's probably a remixed version of something else. On the PS4, man, because I was streaming it, no streaming on the Switch. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I would have made that connection. Okay, getting sort of violent back. Okay, I'm not saying anything bad about your precious Dormon that I'm not even positive if I'm pronouncing correctly. Heathcliff is the generic Garfield. You like Garfield more than Heathcliff? Because I always thought Garfield himself was sort of generic. Sushi. Okay, all right. Just simmer down. Okay, Knives crew. So, alright, let's get into the rest of these pickups real quick. I've got 4 more to go through. The first one was a must-buy, because it's one of those games that me and my dad continue to play incessantly. He's a huge fan of it, and I imagine this will continue until Outer Worlds comes out, and I think that's going to start chewing up a lot of his time. But I did pick up Borderlands 3, and I've been playing that with Morrow, been playing it with Jinkin, been playing with my dad, sometimes all of them at the same time, which is great. And I did go for the Super Deluxe Edition, just because I knew that the DLC was going to come. It's also one of the most gorgeous steelbooks that I've seen so far. It looks really nice. And then the inside came with downloadable codes. And really nothing crazy, just a giant Borderlands logo inside, which is fine. But the outside looks fantastic. I don't know if this light's doing it any favors, but, you know, at E3, it was the most insane presentation they had for Borderlands 3. They had, like, this giant, like, 100-foot wall that was just red with the 2K logo, right? And then when you got closer to it, you would see that it was actually, they were all real roses that were framing it, sort of in celebration of the, I guess, the branding or the presentation of Borderlands 3 on the cover, so... You're pronouncing Dormont correctly? Excellent. Why do you keep putting a knife in it then? Leave Dormont alone. I'm not saying anything bad about it. Josh has a riot, sort of riot? Is that what you're saying? Because kinda. Dormont ran from 1969 to 1996? So it's been around for a minute then. Wow, that came out before any of us were born, I think. Garfield is the GOAT. He's okay. I'm not my favorite. But if you ask me to choose between Garfield or Calvin Hobbes, I pick Calvin Hobbes every time. I preferred Swamp Cats. No idea what that is, Shaboinky Boink. Street Sharks, I do. Bucky O'Hare, I do. I have not been tempted to get that, I have been tempted to get that, Borderlands 3, but again, gotta save pennies. Yeah, dude, and that's the thing, like, there's just such a ridiculous amount of games coming out. It's completely nuts. This I was guilted into by members of the chat that will remain nameless. But Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which technically I didn't need this version. I think this is the one that comes with the main game and then the expansion, but then you also get a steelbook with it, which I haven't opened yet, which I'll go ahead and do right now. And I didn't technically need it, and I probably would not have bought it to get the steelbook exclusively, except for the fact that I knew if I had 2 copies of it, I could kick one to my dad and he could try Monster Hunter World for the first time, and we might be able to, you know, hunt giant monsters together, even though I'm incredibly inept at the game. I'm not good right now. Judge is carrying me through that game. He's a total sweetheart, and he's been very cool about, you know, helping me figure out where to go, what to do, how to become a better player at it. Or anybody in EA peer pressure, exactly, Lola. And it's, you know, I'm trying to open this thing. I thought I had a knife around here. Hold on. But yeah, and because my dad, historically, he always chooses the hunter role in just about every game he plays. He likes the idea of having pets. He likes the idea of dealing damage from a distance and not really getting into the chaos of, you know, up close and personal, like, you know, kind of melee attacks and that kind of thing. It's just not his play style. But Monster Hunter World, I thought he might enjoy because there's just so much nuance that goes in to, like, the preparation, the actual hunting, gathering lore. Like, it's a very unique sort of experience, you know, and when I first decided to try it with the demo when it came out last year, I expected it would be way more fast-paced, and it is fast-paced. When combat gets going, it can get quick, but it's also kind of a slow, methodical burn as well. I haven't paid very much attention to the story. I don't know why, it's just not gripping me, but I guess that's common for a lot of Monster Hunter players. But I will tell you, if you play it with friends, it's tremendously fun. Even if you're getting carried, it's fun. There's just something really satisfying about hunting down some hulking beast and then having people, you know, in your party with a variety of different skill sets, play styles, and equipment to figure out the best way to deal with a threat. It's a lot of fun. And it did, you know, and again, this was another game that I had seen at the at E3, so I had a certain, I don't know, affinity towards getting it, I guess. And, you know, steelbook looks all right. The inside is... oh no. And that's the other thing, is I can't even really play this game and appreciate it, the whole Iceborne piece of the expansion until I've beaten the main game, so that's why Judge has been very kind in trying to rush me through so I can actually experience some of that. Our whole crew plays Sushi Fairy. It's only a matter of time. Wait, what now? We all know the nameless people who pressured you to buy Iceborne. Exactly. Exactly. It was a thinly veiled jab at the worst people who peer pressure me on this platform. SWAT Cats was a pair of humanoid cats that flew advanced fighter jets. That sounds amazing. I started watching the Bucky O'Hare cartoon recently, and it's overlooked gem. I'm halfway through the show. Here's the thing, like, I kind of remember the show, but I definitely remember playing the game on NES, and I wish I'd held on to that, because that game's pretty pricey. I think that goes north of 100 now, if you want that on the NES. And I had a lot of fun with it when I was a kid. Chicken nuggets? Wait. Oh, because of the knife and the chick. I would also like your advice. I may have to take one day off during the week. I upload Monday through Friday. How would you advise telling my audience? Just do a selfie video and put it out on Twitter or YouTube. Just let people know, man. It doesn't have to be super fancy. I wouldn't make a big ordeal out of it. I don't know if you have access to the community tab yet. You could put it there as well. That's what I use it for, or just polling for the multiplayer stuff. No, shaboinky boink. Big Glitch says, cool that your dad plays games. Mine is almost 80, so no chance of that. Yeah, and it's weird. I was thinking about that earlier. It's... If you had asked me when I was a teenager, like, hey, man, do you think you're going to continue to play video games when you're older, or do you think you're just going to sort of grow out of it someday? I might have been tempted to say, like, yeah, I'm really nuts about it now, but, knowing that people change over time, I might have been tempted to say, I think I might grow out of it at some point, right? Like, maybe I'll just, find something else I get really into, like, I don't know, building ships in glass bottles or something. But then, as I got a little bit older and I saw that my dad was approaching and getting well into his 50s, and he was still nuts about video games, and he still very much enjoyed them, I kind of started to realize, I was like, nah, I don't think this is ever going away, because, I don't know why I would have thought otherwise. Like, video games have been this constant in my life ever since I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I've never gotten sick of it. It's one thing, like, I've had extreme interest in certain hobbies that just sort of pop up randomly through the years, and I get really excited for a period of like 1 to 3 months maybe, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this, and then I just jump to something else. Like, I tend to be very scatterbrained with my interest in that way. Actually, we were talking about this yesterday or the day before, I think, was Magic the Gathering. Loved it, got super into it, still have a ton of cards, and every now and then if someone wants to play, that's great, but I was like all about it, like going to the launch of the new blocks, going to Friday Night Magic, just keeping trade binders and stuff. Like, I was all in on Magic the Gathering, and then one day I just woke up and I was like, alright, I think I'm done with Magic the Gathering, and then just kind of moved on. But that's never happened with video games. If my parents are any indication, I don't think it's ever gonna be. I would be hugely, hugely surprised by that. We're going 3 decades strong at this point, which is terrifying to say out loud. Again, Fabian, what's up, man? I always knew I'd want a game when I was older. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there was a chance I might not have. I figured maybe I would grow up, but then when I saw that my parents were never gonna grow up, I was like, yeah, my fate is probably sealed. Talking about outgrowing video games. Well, yeah, I thought maybe there was a chance I could, but I don't think that anymore. So I don't imagine you will either, Fabian. I could be the same. Music is the thing that hangs around for me. Right on, man. Yeah, and like, I don't know. I think that approach is kind of maddening to some people, right? That you could just kind of jump from one thing to another without, really thinking about it. But I don't know. Variety's the spice of life, right? Shaboink said there's always those Xbox adaptive controllers. Oh, yeah, you're right. You mean the ones where you can just configure them depending on your needs? Like, when I first ever could play a computer game, I was hooked. I'm pretty sure I was hooked from a young age. I don't think there was ever a chance of it going away, really. My parents told me when I was a kid, eventually I'd outgrow video games. Now I love them more than ever, and they pay the bills. Justice. I'm sure that never comes up. Tech, what's up, man? How you doing this morning? Thanks for coming back, dude. I'll have my ashes placed next to the latest game console. Sushi, that's commitment, and I admire it. Like, you bury me with my Xbox. One thing I forgot to mention yesterday, that one with the subject as well, is I have a Luigi t-shirt that I custom made that says, "You're stronger than you think." Oh, that's nice. I like a positive message, and I think that pairs well given your affinity for the character, and some of the things that, Luigi kind of helped you through that you were talking about yesterday, Caitlin. Kawhi Lola's rolling the dice. I rub it in their face weekly. Brutal. Totally brutal. Texas, speaking of consoles, I have an old PS2. That was the most unreliable console in history for me. I went through four PS2s, and then the 5th one stayed alive, and this was back during, like, the bigger ones. And then eventually I got rid of that when I moved down to one of the slimline PS2s. But yeah, man, it was just that laser, right? And I think there was probably a fix for it back then that I probably could have done, but that would have been in, what, 2000, 2001? Because the PlayStation came out in 2000, right, a year after the Dreamcast, and I just kept tearing through those things. Every time I tried to put in a blue bottom disc, like I think Contra Shattered Soldier was one of them at the time, it would not read them, so it got very annoying. I actually wore that T-shirt to Siege. I can't remember, Caitlin. I'll have to go back and look through some of my pictures. Parents saying there's no value in playing games. I will prove them all wrong. Insert evil laugh. Yeah, and that's the weird thing is like I talk to people now. My friend Justin, she has a daughter now, and we were talking the other day about video games and stuff. And I was like, at what age do you think it's appropriate to let your kid have her own console? And she was like, I don't know, like because she's not a huge gamer. Her husband is. He's tremendous, and he's who I'm going to be playing. Call of Duty with predominantly here in a few weeks. Now he's just like her first console is going to be an Xbox, and I'm like, yeah, but what's going to be like her first console? The one where it's like, no, this is your console. It's not like like a family console like sits in the living room, but something you can play. I don't know, because a part of me thinks that almost if you have a child who's going to start gaming, like Nintendo seems like a good starting point, right? Probably a handheld or something. But I was just curious. Fabian says, "You my fat PS2 laser kept going." Yeah, dude, I went through 4 of them that I remember, and that was over the span of about 18 months. It was completely absurd how much I had failing laser problems. Off topic, just bought the new Doom movie and watched it. I don't think I knew there was a new Doom movie. I assume you're not referring to the Rock version then, unless you're in some sort of a time warp right now. If you are, how are you even watching this? Really, my PS2 lasted forever too. Nope, I was not fortunate. The only other console that gave me more trouble was the 360, but I think I only went through 2 of those. But that's the thing, the 360, man, at its launch had a 30% failure rate, we now know in retrospect, which is completely insane. I'll never forget being on a 2-hour call with Microsoft support, being sweet as honey pie the whole time, but basically telling them that I wanted them to email me in writing that they were going to send me the new chipset version so I didn't have to go through this process again, because it died on me like a week before Christmas, and if you're a gamer, you're almost certainly going to get a video game for Christmas. This is one of the worst times of the year that you could have a console fail, right? Lots of new releases are coming out anyways. The potential for new games is very high. The last thing you want to deal with is a busted up system on Christmas morning. Fun fact, Josh put VHS tapes in his PS2. No, I didn't, but weird, you just kind of jogged my memory. I do remember being about 3 or 4 years old and dousing a rented VHS tape from the library in syrup and putting that in the VCR. Maybe I'm misremembering it. If my parents are still in the chat, they can confirm or deny this. But I'm pretty sure that I did that, and I cannot tell you for the life of me why I would have done it. But I remember being like maybe 4 years old and thinking it was a good idea. I have 2 fat PS2s. One doesn't read the blue disc, and I have one slim that seems to have issues with the controller ports. Oh, that's right. I've never heard of a controller port problem, especially on the slim ones. I always figured they were more reliable. At least mine has been. Sorry says his PS2 lasted for ages as well. You guys are lucky. I did not have a good experience with it. Although, I mean, nobody can deny there were a ton of great games on the PS2. That is true. I must admit that kids get tablets, laptops, and phones so early nowadays, it blows my mind. Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. On the one hand, if you'd asked me, 3 years ago with I don't know, I guess less knowledge or experience of children or whatever, I would probably say, I think my kids should have, time to play video games, but then they need balance time to, go out and have fun and explore the world, be outdoors, that kind of thing. Because I thought that was hugely beneficial to me when I was a kid, right? It's weird, despite the fact that I'm just a huge fan of video games, and I've been a gamer for a very long time, when I was a kid in the summertime, I did not spend the entirety of that time glued to the TV. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if you had, but for me, during the day, I would go down, there was a church at the end of the block where I lived, and they had this big parking lot, and me and a bunch of friends from the neighborhood, we would all get together and we would go down there and we would play baseball in the summer just every day. And as soon as it started getting dark, then we would run back to someone's house and we would play video games all night. But during the day, I ran around like crazy all over. I grew up in a small town and I was outside constantly. But I would think that experience would be good, but at the same time, if my kid shows a natural affinity for video games, they're just super into it. I mean, today I think being a gamer becomes more viable for long-term opportunity, right? When you think about, Twitch and the Twitch streamers and Mixer and YouTube and all those things. So I don't know that I'd want to stifle that if they were really into it. I mean, I don't think I'd want them playing 20 hours a day. You kind of sleep, right? You have to be somewhat sociable, I think. But I don't know if I'd be like, oh my goodness, he played for 4 hours today. What's wrong with my son? I don't think that would ever be me. 360 and the Red Ring of Death. Oh yeah, had a couple of those. Both my PS2s and 360s are working. Tech, you show off. Oddly enough, I had a launch 360. Never had issues with it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just have really, and I just returned the Nintendo Switch too, so I could swap it out because I had hardware problems with that. Maybe I just have bad luck when it comes to consoles. I don't know. Yikes! No gaming during break time. Wait, what do you mean? No gaming during break time. Did I miss somebody else's chat? Josh, VHS tapes are not pancakes. Yeah, that's fair. They are not pancakes. I agree with this statement. Maybe Australia, New Zealand, PlayStations had a different manufacturer. Could be. Apparently, to 4-year-old Josh, they were. Apparently, they were. Because I vividly remember that. The Game Boy Color was the first console I had. Loved that thing. The original Game Boys were great, but man, a backlight sure would have been nice. Something. I remember having like those weird accessories that would shine light on it at the right angle. Or if you've ever played a Game Boy in a car, passing by streetlights in the back seat just to try to see things intermittently. That's rough. Sorry, considering we get things years after the actual releases, they probably fixed it by the time it got here. That's a good point. Could be that you guys got a later model. What up? What's up, man? If you put maple syrup on anything, it becomes pancakes. Exactly, right? Even VHS tapes. I'm sure it seemed tasty at the time. Good point. Sushi's considering the viability of anything becoming pancakes. At work, and the Friday bagels and donuts are here. Be right back. Jealous. That sounds delightful. I'm still rocking the cotton candy bang. One way of saving money while collecting recently is to buy stuff in lots on eBay. Yeah, I think that's especially helpful for retro games. I think what's weird though is like every now and then you'll see somebody sell a lot of retro games. You can tell that they just their kid moved away or something and they found a bunch of leftover games. They just decided to put them up there. And I saw, what was it? There was a lot. And most of the games that were in it were crappy. They were just like random GameCube sports titles and stuff like that. But then there was like a copy of, I think it was Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy, which apparently demands a pretty high price. And it was so funny because like that, whoever was selling it had to be super confused because it looked like a bunch of junk mostly. And the price just kept getting pushed up like $100, $200 and beyond. It was completely nuts. VHS deserves love too, Josh. How could you monster? I keep getting called monster all the time. Unfair. Morrow keeps calling me a monster because I ditched the yellow switch in favor of the turquoise one, which again, nice color, nicer than the pictures would have you believe, right? It's not quite as vivid as it looks, in video or in pictures. It's a more subdued sort of turquoise. Not quite as vivid. It's not like you're staring into the sun with the yellow one. I'm doing well, Tech. It's Friday. I'm excited to pick up Ghostbusters here in a little while. I'm going home this weekend, so I'm probably not going to be streaming this weekend. I might play some games or be online and play some Switch games if anybody wants to play. But I'm going to go home, hang out with Mom and Dad. I think we're going to go see It Chapter 2, and I'm going to go see Joker on Sunday with some friends when I get back to Columbus. So if I stream, it's probably going to be Sunday night, I would guess. We'll have to wait and see. Like VHS tapes mukbang. Wait. Mega Man 5 is crazy expensive, and I used to have it as a kid. I don't think I ever had that one as a kid. I had a lot of the Mega Man games and gradually recollected most of them. But yeah, like I just thought it was so funny watching the price on that, a lot of junk go up and up and up. Well, it is Halloween, so... Oh yeah, pickups, I should get back to this. All the bad guys were named after planets. It was so unique. It was like staring into the sun, Sushi. It really is. So the next one was sort of a game that I was also, you know what, let's do this one. The other game I was pressured into buying, and the subject of the thumbnail, and that was Catherine Full Body Edition, a game which I had on the PS3, hadn't played yet, and then Morrow actually kind of twisted my arm on this one and convinced me that I should go for it. But the thing that sucks is even though I got the full body, what was it? I can't remember the name of it, and I can't see it from that far away because I'm getting old. But I got the box that comes with like the stuffed sheep and everything, and the art book. I think I put pictures up on Instagram. But the steelbook in that version doesn't come with the slipcover that the Day 1 edition got. So yeah, unfortunate. Then on the inside of the steelbook, it's just a bunch of sheep. And I got my first experience really playing it and streaming it on the channel last month. And I have to say, it's a really unique game. It gives me a little bit of anxiety to see a work-at-home IT dude in his 30s making questionable decisions that lead to horrifying situations. But it's fun. It's fun, and it's an Atlas game. The storytelling's good, and the presentation's solid. Yeah, Joker is out this weekend, Neo. A lot of people, it's weird, like, some people are like, yeah, Joker is amazing. And then I think a lot of the mainstream media is like, Joker's dangerous, and you shouldn't go see it, and all this just... parallels they're drawing about the character, and I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm gonna find out for myself on Sunday, because it's weird when they announced this, a lot of people were just like, no, this is garbage, no one can beat Heath Ledger as Joker, and he's the best, and this movie's gonna suck, and there was just something about the aesthetic and the direction they were going with. I was like, this is gonna be a bigger deal than I think a lot of people realize, and sure enough, like, it's crushing it in reviews right now. Reluctantly from some outlets, but most people agree that Joaquin Phoenix's performance is apparently Oscar-worthy in his turn as the Joker, so I'm very much looking forward to it. I like the look of that Switch. The color does it well. Yeah, like it's vivid. I could never go for. I could have gone for gray. They did have gray in stock when I went to do the exchange, but I was like, man, I'm not doing that. I want a vivid color bomb sort of console. And if any console is going to get me into like the console variant collecting game, which I don't want to get into, because if you think game collecting is expensive, start collecting console variants. The Switch Lite might do it, because I know we're going to get an Animal Crossing one. I know at some point we're going to get a funky color, and if it's a purple one, I'm just about going to have to do it. I hate it because I know they're going to come with some really cool versions of this console throughout its lifespan. Nintendo always does this with their portables, and I am, because I'm so addicted to being an early adopter, I tend to miss out on the later cool ones. Where am I at? Sawyer says, I'm off to bed. Have a good night, everyone. Take care, Sawyer. Appreciate you hanging out, man. Judge, I was talking about you earlier. Thank you so much for carrying me through Monster Hunter. We will play soon. I'm going home for the weekend, so I'll keep you posted. I might be able to play Sunday night, though, if you're down. I think that's going to be the best window that I'm going to have. Why is Josh not drinking coffee right now? Because I'm drinking Bang. It's not the breakfast of champions. In fact, it's terrible for you, but it also tastes like cotton candy. I'm okay with whatever this movie does because it's a standalone experimental thing. Yeah, and I'm glad they're still willing to take risks with it. I mean, a lot of people might be feeling some DC movie fatigue, but this is not part of the DC universe, right? This is a standalone film, not supposed to be connected with, what we've gotten from movies like, Aquaman and Justice League and all that, so. Where am I at? I'm hoping I can get the Steelbook for Luigi's Mansion 3. I would love to get that, because it glows in the dark, right, Caitlin? I would love to have that. Sir, there's only one Joker, and that is Jack Nicholson. Hey, I love Nicholson's Joker. I actually was one of the weirdos who liked Leto's Joker, right? I thought he was very well branded, very different take on the character. I don't think he quite had the acting chops necessary to carry it, but I did enjoy it for what it was. I can provide the coffee. Many thanks, Tech. Wait, what? Oh no, I missed it. Caitlin says, I'll smuggle one for you. Lola, you can do that for me? What? Smuggle one for me, Beck? You knew I wanted that glow-in-the-dark case. I thought. Maybe not. Some server is having issues. Gotta go. Have a great day, Josh. I can relate to that more than you know, 8-bit. Go do what you do. Sorry, you have to deal with that right now. Not a great way to start your Friday. NES Addict, hello. How are you today? Am I coming off as it's... No, I've got one more pickup to go through, and then I'm going to talk a little about some October releases, and then I'm going to kill it in about 10 minutes. So, no, you're good. I almost had a bad high off Bang once. What? Never drank it again? I don't think I've dealt with that. I just like the cotton candy flavor. Cotton candy flavored coffee would be interesting. That would be interesting. I imagine you could make a cotton candy flavored coffee creamer. I'm trying to say that 5 times fast. That might work okay. I've seen some weird flavors go into coffee that work out better than I thought. Like that whole, what was it? That juniper berry latte thing they did at Starbucks last year that everyone was split on. I thought it was amazing. Might have to try that cotton candy. D-Dub, you should try the cotton candy. It's great as long as you don't mind the fact that there is a complete absence of sugar. But D-Dub, if you like energy drinks and you don't mind that, it's worth a shot. The pina colada is good too. I know the UK also has a Polterpup keychain that comes exclusive to pre-orders. I want to get it both and the Steelbook. I love Polterpup. He is adorable. Ooh, where am I at? Josh, you should be sponsored by your precious cotton candy drink. Nah, I'm not going to bother the nice people at Bang. They can have some free promotion from me just because I do appreciate it. Don't all those Instagram girls promote that drink? I don't know. I know that when I was at E3, I don't remember seeing Bang girls running around, but I do remember seeing the Red Bull girls running around because I was like, you guys giving out free Red Bull? And they were like, yeah, because I was like very excited to get free energy drinks on the E3 floor. But I don't remember seeing Bang there. I liked his Joker and deserved all the praise, but Jack Nicholson is the top dog. He's up there, but what about Cesar Romero, right? Yeah, you can go old school with it. Josh 2 will be an Instagram girl. I would be an amazing Instagram girl. Okay? I'll work on my poses. Thanks, I have one friend who has a friend from the UK who thinks she can help, but I need to see how things work out first. So Trish promotes it? Do I know Trish? Okay, got a film. Take advantage of kids being at school later all. Have a good one, Jay. Appreciate you swinging by. Good luck on your filming, man. Cotton candy flavored creamer. That's a tongue twister. If I had ever seen one. I know, right? Cotton candy coffee creamer. It's gonna mess me up. I never knew. I discovered this drink because of Josh. Yeah, it's not the best energy drink, right? In terms of flavor, I don't think it's as good as like the Red Bull variants, because they have sugar in them, but this is still pretty good. The E3 Red Bull girls were awesome. I instantly flew over to get my... Right, like as soon as I saw them, I was like, hey, I need to talk to you real quick. I need free Red Bull. You ever need help, you can tweet at me. That's very nice feedback. Oh boy, I'd like to go to E3, that'd be neat. It was amazing. And depending on how plans work out with my family next year, I will be going back to E3 to hang out with GamerThumb TV here in the chat, and Adrian, another game collector, and Mikkel Casanova, and all those cats that go back, and Chad. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody. Also, some expo in London, but who knows? Yeah, that would be outside my realm of expertise. It's like the world runs on America time, which is so frustrating. Like, you guys get a midnight release, we have to wait till 6 a.m. Yeah, and I'll tell you who really gets it, oh, help me. Out on the West Coast, because they get midnight releases before we do, I think. They don't have to wait as long as we do for it. Or sometimes they'll get it at midnight, a release at midnight their time, but we have to wait till 3 a.m. on the East Coast. Kirby is made of cotton candy, at least I think he is. He has to be. There is no other explanation. My mom says, I really cannot support that the endorsement, you know. Yes, Mom, we are painfully aware. Not a teachable moment. Next year, we'll likely have 2 new consoles to check out at E3. I know, right? Next year is going to be a tough one to miss. Josh, you really want that Steelbook and for Zelda as well? If you can get them, I can cash you for them. I would be happy to do that, or PayPal you or whatever back. If you can get a hold of those, that would be tremendous. But, you know, we can talk on Twitter and figure all that out. Well, I have decided to, do I stay up or try to sleep early? Get some sleep early, man. You can always catch because I'm only going to be on for another 10 minutes. Go ahead and get some rest, dude. You can always catch it later if you want to. And I'll be back Monday morning at 8 a.m. At least through the end of October, and then we'll see where we go from there. I don't think I missed anything in the chat. So, and the final pickup for the PlayStation 4 that I got, and I think it's a GameStop exclusive, and I think it's going to be one of those ones that's rare, but I missed it the first time around, and then it got a remaster, not a remake, but that was Metal Wolf Chaos XD, which apparently is an over-the-top mech game, which, by the way, I should point out, I really want to get Daemon X Machina, but I'm going to wait for that price drop, because I know what's going to happen. And apparently in this game, you play as the President of the United States, and you're overthrowing an attempted coup by the Vice President, and you have an amazing mech suit, and it's just, you know, non-stop destruction and weird over-the-top humor. And I'm kind of excited to play it. I haven't done it yet, but, you know, the case is all right. Now, this was at GameStop, and I hope this trend continues as well. This is a special reserve game. So, Special Reserve, I think, is sort of like limited run. I think they also do limited physical runs for certain games. This is $29.99. You can find it at GameStop right now. The one I was at still had a couple of copies left. So if that's, you know, ridiculous, over-the-top mech action sounds fun to you, for a budget title, it's probably going to be, I would guess, at least somewhat rare in the coming years. Might be worth a look. I think they did it on the PS4 and maybe Xbox as well. I'm trying to remember now. It may be a PS4 exclusive, but I think it began on the 360? I'm not sure. I don't know the full history of the game, I'm sorry to say. Hoping Sony doesn't skip out at E3 again. It was honestly a bad look after how great Microsoft was set up. I mean, they had such an unfair advantage that Microsoft had a whole building, dude. The 6 a.m. release is here. It's 13:46 p.m. here, so definitely not going to sleep yet. Oh, okay. Trying to do that math in my head. Hey, fellow Brit. I think there are a few British people that hang out on this channel. Trump in a mech suit turning against the vice president in combat. Oh, the imagery. I know, right? It would be tremendous. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the other things I really liked about YouTube is how I've gotten to talk to people from countries all over the world. It's weird because, you know, you always say that sort of in an abstract way, like, oh, on the internet you can talk to people from all over the globe. But it became very tangible for me in the past 18 months, and I started realizing that there were people that were in, you know, Korea or Australia or Canada or, you know, just across the pond in general, I guess. Josh for president? No, I'd be a terrible president. I would be so horribly self-serving. Wait a minute. Yes, sir. Nice. I know the time difference is rough, right? I think you and I are 6 hours apart. So, yeah, good stuff. But October releases. Let's talk about those real quick. I'm definitely getting Luigi's Mansion. I took the day off for Luigi's Mansion, so when that drops on the 31st, I'll probably be streaming it and just having spooky fun all day long, which I can't wait for. I think it's going to be great. Call of Duty, I will be grabbing that this month. Ghost Recon, I'm on the fence about. Some of the early reviews, I was about to crash last night, and I was watching a little bit from Dreamcast guy talking about just how horrifically microtransaction laden it is, which I don't care, really, as long as I can still unlock that stuff without the kind of grind that, EA would have expected in Star Wars. It's not a terrible thing to me, but, if the gameplay itself doesn't hold up, that's going to be a hard sell, which sucks, 'cause I used to get really excited about Ghost Recon games. Other games coming out this month that I'm probably forgetting. What else drops this month? Hold on. New games for October. I know I'm forgetting something right now. Outer Worlds I'll be pumped about, but I'm going to get that with Xbox Game Pass. Yooka-Laylee, I never played the first one because I didn't... I heard it wasn't that great. I heard it was, nostalgic, but ultimately not a very good game. But I'm seeing a lot of people saying that the follow-up is a much better game that went to 2.5D, apparently. So, that's a maybe for me. Even though I know a lot of people hold it in a very high regard. Austin, what's up, dude? How you doing? What's up? I'm finally up early enough to watch live. Thank you for coming out. I'm going to have to drop off in a few minutes, but you can always catch the recap later, or, if you make it up to the 8 a.m. Eastern start sometime in the next few weeks, I'll be around. How are you doing, man? I also got to hang out with Gaming Ain't Easy at E3. I would assume you'll be there next year as well, Austin. I'm sure for more professional reasons. What else is coming out? October, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which I'm not overly pumped about. Killer Queen Black. I think I'm going to go for that. That's for Switch, and what's weird is it has a multiplayer mode that I swear they just ripped off Joust, but I think that's going to be an unexpected hit. Killer Queen Black is something I'm keeping an eye on. What else? Ring Fit Adventure. I like the idea of it. I don't know if I'll get it at launch, but I'm gonna try. Oh, and Medieval. Medieval comes out October 25th. That I'm pumped out because I never played it the first go around. I know a lot of people loved Medieval, so I'm pumped for that too. Resident Evil Triple Pack. I'm gonna pass on. I've already got Resident Evil 4 downloaded, and 6 was not tremendous, and 5 is great, but I'll wait until I can find a price drop on that if I can, if they do it. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. That's a maybe, because I didn't have Super Monkey Ball previously, so that's something I would consider. I think those are the big ones that I would be considering. Zombieland Double Tap I want to learn more about, but I'm expecting it's not going to be a very good game, but we'll see. Zach, what's up, dude? How you doing? Playing The Last of Us Remastered. Is this your first time? Good for you, man. Heck yeah, I'll be there. Excellent. I'm hoping I'll be there too. I might be on vacation with my family. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do during that week, but we'll see. Speaking of games, Forza Horizon 2 on the 360 is jam-packed with glitches and bugs galore. It's kind of hilarious. Sometimes when games have bugs and glitches, it's funny. It's not always like, a horrible indictment of a lackluster title that you're going to struggle with. Sometimes it's just like, I don't know, it's almost like the equivalent of a campy B-movie, in my opinion. I'm definitely getting Ring Fit Adventure for my... well, and that's the thing, I think it's interesting that it's more of an RPG style game, right? I feel like a lot of those move or fitness type games tend to fall into either really boring stuff or stuff that's just barely gamified, but this looks like they're going all in on a true kind of RPG-ish experience. Still kind of light, but, I'm looking forward to trying it out, maybe. We'll see. I love getting people on stream that are like, greetings from Mexico or some other random country. I know, right? It's super satisfying. Too many games. Yes, there's a lot. Kind of send an AI car to space. I bet that was hilarious. I definitely got to get a game session on sometime. Absolutely, man. I'm still down to play, for sure. Linda, hello. Will you live stream Ring Fit Adventure? Probably. I'm not opposed to trying it, just so, people can see, I guess. It would be easier for me to do that. Well, no, maybe not. Because I don't like streaming games where I can't keep a close eye on the chat. And that was the problem I had when I tried, because I streamed Beat Saber a couple of times, and it was just rough because I couldn't really keep up with the chat in any meaningful way. So I don't know, we'll see. That's a little bit different because it's VR. Maybe I can find some way to make that work and just put the chat up on a giant screen in front of me somehow, but we'll have to see. But right now I'm gonna have to take off. It's time for me to go ahead and get ready for work. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I would love to hear more about the games that you are thinking about picking up this month. So if we didn't get to it here on the chat, feel free to leave it in a comment or hit me up on Twitter. I'm always there. That's where I probably am the most active is on Twitter. So if you don't already follow me there, and if you want to hang out, DM me, whatever, feel free to do so. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Enjoy your Friday. I hope it's a really, really good one. If you're getting Ghostbusters, I hope you enjoy it and have both. You know, even all three Ghostbusters movies, well, at least the first two, playing in the background while you play that game, because that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm very excited. So, but yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. If I don't talk to you, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you Monday morning at 8 a.m. and then potentially over the weekend playing some games just for fun. But I'm going to go hang out with the family a little bit this weekend, so probably not a lot of streams happening in the afternoon. If anything, it'll be Sunday night, and ideally with Judge, who will probably have to carry me through Monster Hunter. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.